Could the Texas Tech secondary turn into a no-fly zone for the Red Raiders in 2023? Well, they're experienced and have a ton of depth as well. We'll preview that position and much more in today's video. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And if you want the latest news when it comes to Texas Tech football, whether that's breaking news, injury updates, the look ahead in terms of game previews and the keys to the game, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button to stay in the know right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. And listen, I know this is a football video. I get it. But hey, there's a pretty big birthday within Texas Tech athletics. Wanted to give a birthday shout out to Texas Tech starting point guard Pop Isaacs. If you want to wish Pop a happy birthday, all you got to do is go down to the comments and type Pop. Listen, pretty cool. Good point guard for Texas Tech. Really excited to see him in the Grant McCasland offense. I've heard great things coming out of Texas Tech men's basketball practice. If you want to know a little bit more about that, like the video, and maybe we'll get one out here in the next couple of weeks. But let's jump into the Texas Tech secondary, and I'm going to group everybody in this in terms of the DBs, the corners, and then we're going to have the safeties as well as the star position. And down below is the projected depth chart for the Red Raiders. Now, I'll list them off for you right here as well. We got Rashad Williams, a senior, and then we've got a transfer backing him up right now in Bralyn Lux from Fresno State. We'll be talking about him just a little more in depth here later on. You've got Horn as well, the Oklahoma native. He has been making big strides in camp and has been one of those guys that has popped, according to Joey McGuire, during fall camp. Moving on to the field safety, you got CJ Baskerville, and some of y'all may know this field safety spot as the star position. He is taking over for Muddy Waters, who is currently in camp with the New York Jets. CJ Baskerville is another guy we're going to talk a little bit more in depth here later on, and a guy I am very excited and high on in this Texas Tech secondary in 2023. His backup will be a true freshman in Brendan Jordan, a guy that was a former four-star recruit alongside Jordan Sanford. Those are two of the youngest guys that could make an immediate impact for the Red Raiders in 2023. As for the free safety spot, you know you got to start with Rabbit, right? Of course, Rabbit is the leader of this crew right there, and he's on the thumbnail too. That might be one of the hardest pictures I've ever seen taken of a Texas Tech football player. The one on the thummy, go check it out. It is absolutely ridiculous from last year's Texas Bowl. He'll be backed up by Cam Watts or Champion Lewis, another guy, freshman, that could make his way into that rotation for Texas Tech. Could be a guy that they finagle into a red shirt in terms of pick and choose when they want to play him in his 4 games of eligibility to sustain that red shirt. Will be interesting to see. Now, you move on to the boundary safety. This is going to be kind of that center field type safety for the Red Raiders that is rangy, long, and athletic. And, well, Tyler Owens, the former UT transfer, fits that mold perfectly. He's going to be the starting boundary safety for the Red Raiders. And then you've got a guy in Joseph Plunk, the junior, who could play a couple of the safety spots, okay? He could play either boundary or field. I have him projected as the backup to Tyler Owens at the boundary spot. And then you've got Jalen Peoples, a redshirt freshman, was there last year, didn't play at all. Now he's been moved around from the DB spot outside at the cornerback, has played a little bit of safety. He could be a Swiss Army knife type guy for the Red Raiders back there in the secondary. And obviously rounding it out on the opposite corner side, you've got Malik Dunlap, who we will talk about here in just a second as well. I'm extremely high on him. He is then backed up by Nate Floyd, the sophomore, and then Jordan Sanford, the freshman, who I think still could get a little bit of run as well. When I look at this group, though, overall, right, there's a ton of experience, right? You got 4 of your returning starters coming back. The only one that isn't coming back, well, I guess technically 2, but you've got guys that have played a lot of snaps for Texas Tech, I should say, with Tyler Owens taking over there, and you got Rabbit moving into that Reggie Pearson role, and then Tyler Owens starting. You've got 4 guys that have played significant snaps for the Red Raiders, with CJ Baskerville stepping in at that star position to take over for Muddy Waters, who had one of the most underrated seasons from a defensive player in Texas Tech history. Just go look at the stats. They are mind-boggling how he did not get more attention for what he did last year in 2022. But again, for me, I think there's a ton of talent in this group. I'm interested to see how much the freshmen play. That's really what it comes down to, is if there's an injury, and let's be real, it's football, there's going to be some. do the freshmen play? How do they finagle the red shirts? And who are the guys that maybe come out of nowhere for Texas Tech that really make an impact, whether that's in special teams or in the secondary for the Red Raiders? All right. Give me your one word to describe the Texas Tech secondary heading into 2023. Again, we're just projecting right now. We'll talk a little bit more about breakout players here in just a second, and a guy that I think is a must-watch player for the Red Raiders in this secondary. But give me your one word to describe the Texas Tech secondary in 2023. All right, remember, hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on Texas Tech football all year long. We're about 10 subs away from think 8,600 subscribers. Tell your friends about this most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube. We're giving you daily videos surrounding Texas Tech football, men's basketball, whether that's breaking news, injury updates, the big games coming up, what the national media is saying about the Red Raiders, and so much more. And we'll be doing live shows as well. So if you want to stay in the know about Texas Tech football and men's basketball all year long, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell as well. And hey, why don't you tell your Raider friends about us as well? All right, let's jump into the must-watch player for the Texas Tech secondary, in my opinion, this year. And it's Malik Dunlap. The 6'3 super senior corner was an all Big 12 second teamer last year for the Red Raiders in 2022. He finished second in the conference last year in passes defended per game and third overall in total passes defended. He's long, he's rangy, he's athletic. He has battled some injuries during his time in the 806 after transferring from North Carolina State a few years back. But in my opinion, when he is healthy, he is a top 5 corner in the Big 12 conference. I think he's a true difference maker on the outside and a guy that when quarterbacks see him outside the numbers, they just don't want to throw to him because, well, again, he's 6'3 and he's long as hell and rangy as hell. And not to mention, when I watch corners play, a couple of things I look at in his hips. He's got really good hips in terms of the quick twitch, in terms of getting outside the numbers, getting inside if he has to go with the slant route, whatever it is. I'm really excited to watch Malik Dunlap this year. And actually, he's one of my bold takes. Bold predictions, I should say, for the Texas Tech Red Raiders this season. I think Malik Dunlap will be an All-American and make an All-American team for the Red Raiders. I truly do, health permitting, right? I think he's that good of a football player, and I'm very excited to watch him play outside in year number 2 for him in the Tim DeRuyter defense. All right, breakout players. It's got to be the 2 transfers that are going to play significant minutes, and that's CJ Baskerville and Bralyn Lux. Now, CJ Baskerville, he transferred in from San Diego State. He will play at the star position again, taking over for Muddy Waters. Lux is going to compete for a starting corner spot. Probably won't get one with Rayshad on one side and Malik on the other, but don't get it twisted. Bralyn Lux is going to be a key contributor for the Red Raiders. And I do want to mention this. A.J. McCarty, the Baylor transfer, could play this year, but he hasn't gotten cleared. For those interested in that, probably should have brought that up sooner than 8 minutes into the video. But there's a possibility he's just got to get his waiver cleared, and there's no concrete answer with that right now. But these 2 guys have gotten cleared, right? And CJ Baskerville is a guy that I'm super high on. And I truly believe that these 2 guys can elevate the Texas Tech secondary to a level that we haven't seen out in the 806 in at least a decade, if not more, right? CJ Baskerville is 6'3", long, rangy. Muddy is more compact, right? He was more of a compact star guy. Go down and lay the wood in the run game onto the quarterback, tackles for loss, all that kind of stuff. CJ Baskerville can do that too, but he can get sideline to sideline super quick. He's long rangy. He can go out and play that center field spot, can cover a tight end with his size, can cover a running back and their speed out in the flat, can get to a quarterback. He is just a chess piece for Tim DeRuyter in the secondary, and I'm excited to watch him. When it comes to Bralyn Lux, I think he's going to be perfect alongside guys like Dunlap and Williams because he's going to build that experience into this Texas Tech secondary in terms of depth that they really haven't had in a long time, right? I get it. They're coming from San Diego State in CJ Baskerville's case. Bralyn Lux is coming from Fresno State. But they have played major college football at a high level, and now they're coming into a Power 5 conference, and they will have big-time roles for the Red Raiders in their secondary this year. All right, let me know who will be the Texas Tech secondary MVP in 2023. You got Rabbit. You got Malik Dunlap. CJ Baskerville, Rashad Williams, Bralyn Lux, Tyler Owens, maybe somebody else down the line in terms of maybe you got a Cam Watts stepping up. Maybe you've got one of the freshmen in Brendan Jordan Sanford, those guys stepping up. Let me know who you think will be the Texas Tech secondary MVP down in the comments below. And again, one more time, we're 10 away from 8,600 subs. Our goal for the year is to get to 10K by the end of football season. I think we can do it. I know what Red Raider Nation's capable of. Let me know, hey, if y'all are liking what we're doing here on the channel by simply liking the video, obviously, and hitting that subscribe button, and tell your friends about the best and most interactive Texas Tech YouTube channel there is. And it's the Back to 12 podcast channel. Who else is giving you daily videos breaking down the latest Texas Tech football, breaking news, rumors, and everything in between? The answer is nobody. So hit that subscribe button and stay in the know right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.